discussing some of the biggest stories making headlines in the world of sports in there. Of course, my name is Senior Geroh. Joining me to room is my compatriot in the names of Eddie Mahaz. After a long period of time, he's back in the city. And remember, we will be discussing about the Saban story. Of course, Saban has left Uganda currently as I talk. Saban is in Kenya, Nairobi, and he's going to be joining Nairobi United in that perspective. So, first things first, Eddie Mahaz, welcome aboard. And we will be discussing the one and twos with you in the building.
Right, it's really been a long time with you here, Senior Geroh. It's been a while, like about 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's time for us to kick the ball rolling to see that we discuss sports. The talking point, the biggest for Uganda, is that Mohamed Saban has left actually the country after a lot of scandals here and there. So right now he is with Nairobi United there in Kenya.
Yes.
So the biggest is Uganda. Actually, the
Owase story.
Owase story. They are making good. They're making good runs as far as the Fiesta games are concerned. So there are a lot of stories making headlines as far as sports is concerned. Football returns in action. The Premier League, the most followed league in the world, comes on board this Friday. Tonight we shall see Arsenal coming against the champions of the English Premier League, coming against the champions of the Championship. So we shall see 10 p.m. at Teta, the road to driving back to see that they win back to back the Premier League after 22 years will start again tonight. So that's basically it. Stay tuned to Sararights TV.
All right, that is the energy that has been generated by my chief analyst in the names of Eddie Mahaz. Of course, with him, we will be discussing some of the biggest stories making headlines in the world of sports. So, Eddie, let's begin from here and we talk about a performance that our own school from Western region in the names of Owase Primary School is actually exhibiting in Tanzania in the first games. This is not the first time that Owase Primary School is making such actually an eminent performance in the first games that are currently ongoing in Tanzania. And this is the first time in perspective. Remember, the East African National Development Bank has ejected in 90,000 US dollars. If you have to convert that money into Ghanaian shillings, it's around 333 billion 690 something of that out of that sort in billions, and this money has been injected into the Fiesta games. And what's probably, in case they win a gong here, we could be seeing Owase is coming back with some big amount of money back to Arua here.
Yeah, seeing Owase from that perspective, I would say sports in Western Isles is currently, I should say, at some point is growing, at some point it is declining at the same point.
Yes.
You should see in the primary games how I wish this spirit of playing football starts from the primaries and ends with the secondary, even beyond. That's why I should say Owase at this point are making something good. And now the question right now is, can other schools come to see to board that Owase is supported as far as Western Isle football is concerned? If you take Owase, at some point we did see schools like St. Leo ejecting a lot of money to see that they come into a level with Owase, but they did go down the pecking order to see that Owase is left alone in this drive. So what is this implying? This is implying that if West Nilers normally, you see these games are normally the primary schools and the secondary schools. You see the schools that perform well are basically the private schools. You know, like if it comes to the government schools, it's normally the investment in sports is normally small. But now when you see the private schools, the proprietors have actually invested a lot of money.
Yes.
Which has been seen in the performance of Owase. But now what are we appealing to the proprietors of the private schools and also some government schools as well, is that they should come back to the drawing board to see that they invest much in sports, to see that Western Isle football is taken somewhere else. Now, if you take the performance of Owase in the recent games, Owase has actually been doing well. In 5 games, they have won all of them, collecting a cruising 15 points out of these games.
Fantastic.
If I can remember, in their first game, they did beat a certain team from Kenya by 3-0. In their second encounter, they did play. That was a Heart winning 2-1. That was their second game. That was when last I followed Owase, but then coming back to the drawing board, seeing that Owase exhibiting this kind of performance in the Fiesta games, it is really something to celebrate. It is worth celebrating for Uganda, for Western Isle and Uganda at large.
Of course, what we're talking about is top in the group. Of course, the group is finally done. Of course, what's top in the group with 15 points, been followed by a team, a school that comes from Tanzania in the names of Bungo in there. Of course, Bungo is second with 13 points. Then Monire, that comes from Kenya, is third on the log with 8 points. We are having Rwanda Primary School that comes from Rwanda. They are having 8 points. Then we are having Kibaba that comes from Tanzania. They are having 4 points. Then we are having Nyambondo, like I said, they are having only 3 points to their names. This the game that the West has been playing down in Tanzania in the first games. They are doing incredibly very well in those games. And yesterday when I was talking to their head coach in the name of Mawamas through our subtitle channels, he was also telling me that the boys are extremely very happy to come back home with something very, very good for Western region in there. So let's leave it and talk about the Sabani story. And remember, Sabani has been moving up and down in the continent, General Africa, and apparently, as I talk, Sabani yesterday was spotted at Kenya, Nairobi in the international airport, and he is set to join Nairobi United on a 2 years contract. What are we expecting from Sabana in his return into the team of Nairobi United? That is one of the biggest teams in Kenya.
Yeah, Geroh, I would like to sound very awkward by saying Mohamed Saban is a restless player. At some point I did get in touch to him talking about sports.
Yes.
He highlighted a few things, majorly pulling down his tenure. He actually commented to some injuries and some misunderstanding between, Mohamed Saban. He's very aggressive.
Yeah, he's very aggressive indeed.
In a way that when you don't pay him, he leaves your club.
Yes.
You get a lot of problems with him when you don't pay him the finances he deserves. We did see he did go to Morocco. He did play for a club in Morocco.
Rather Casablanca.
Then he came back. He went to Libya. The same story, not taking so long.
In Libya, he was Aliazi Benghazi.
And then leaving that aside, he went to FC Al Anwar, that was also down in Libya as well. Then he went to Kofi FC, that was
in Ethiopia.
So after all this, he came back to Chitara. All the things were not going right.
All the 6 games played, in 1 goal for Chitara Football Club.
Yeah, I think right now for Mohamed Saban, the energy level is already down.
Yes.
So at this point, I think there's nothing much this man can do other than just adding more onto. He's just 29 years of age. The age factor is coming down, for us as the West Nilers. The energy levels come down at a very low, at a very small age because of what we eat and also. So yeah, exactly. So at this point, what I can just say about Mo Saban is maybe just add on a few things to see that first things first is player discipline. How disciplined are you as a player? So there are things that happen. I should say, let me give an example with players at Ababe Greenlight Stadium on Paraka.
Yes.
Right now, I should say it's for the players. Right now, it's not all about the pay.
Yes.
It's about playing for the badge and playing for the heart.
Having the passion for the club.
For the club.
Yes.
Yeah. You first play. Now money comes, right?
Yes.
But for Saban, I should say at this point, it is money first and other things later. Clubs have been running away from Mohamed Saban basically because of his demands.
Yes.
First of all, he's injury prone. Leave alone that. Secondly is his demands.
Yes.
His demands are very high. Sign-on fees, salary expectation, everything. Agreeing personal terms is something that is very hard. We did see months back him signing with a certain club in Kenya that is Gor Mahia.
Yes.
But now things did come on the drawing board. I think there was some disagreement
about the sign-on fee.
Yeah, something like that. So he had to go back, go down the pecking order to see that things were not actually right. So this time around, making a move to Nairobi United in Kenya. In Kenya, there's a very competitive league.
Yes.
So this time around, I think it is something. I thought maybe Mohamed Saban should have sat back in Uganda, play in the home soil because there's already some familiarity. Because at this point, what are you looking at? We are looking at getting that national spot to play in the national team.
Yes.
So right now, I should say playing for Nairobi United to me is not something better than playing in another club in Uganda that is playing at the top flight, because this is where actually the scouting starts from. The more opportunities I think should be given if you play in the league, because there's some familiarity in the league, and you playing in front of your own relatives is something that is very good. But now going outside, that side of Kenya also we seem well.
Now, what are you expecting Sabani's future in case his move to Nairobi United comes to an end with his demands? Do you still expect Saban to come on board and probably play for teams in Uganda Premier League?
That will depend, because Mohamed Saban I believe he still has the passion, he still has the pedigree to go somewhere and do something. But now it will depend on how he will perform in the coming seasons.
Yes.
For FC Nairobi United.
Yes.
That will depend. If he plays well for Nairobi United, I believe he can still have a gong to go ahead. But if his tenure there does not come with something fruitful,
yes,
I believe he will have to come back and reduce his expectations.
Yes.
To lower himself to play for a low league club in Uganda. That will depend on his performance next season. But all in all, I just wish him the best.
Of course, the Mohamed Sabani we're talking about was one of the most elite strikers that Uganda has seen. Of course, it was anticipated that he was going to be the hero for Uganda Queens, but apparently he is falling apart in the pecking orders when it comes to Ugandan football. And Saban, it has been a regular call-up into the national team of Uganda. It was only Mitchell that was spotted him and was given him that playing opportunity into the national team of Uganda, but apparently that has not been the case in the last 2 seasons with Mohamed Sabana, and he is one of the prominent national figures for Western Province when it comes to the FIFA drum games in there. Before we forget about one story in Uganda, there's a huge one. Of course, the Super Cup, the FIFA Super Cup is not the Super 8. It's called the FIFA Super Cup. Okay. Remember, the team that won the Southern Uganda Premier League and the team that won the Stadic Uganda Cup, they're supposed to class off like you win the UEFA Champions League, and then the team that win the Europa League have to class up. So, in that case, Vipers are supposed to play against Chita Football Club tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Nasibu Stadium at after the game will be on TV, it's going to be one of the biggest games to follow. And the Chita Football Club have also strengthened the team a little bit, and equally Vipers have boosted their squad in that perspective. And remember, Vipers have been playing in the Safaka games in Rwanda, but apparently the team got ejected in, and Chita Football Club has been playing the games in the Super Super 8, but apparently the team also got actually ejected from the competition. Remember, KCC were the champions of the Super 8 in that perspective. Now, this is not the perfect opportunity for Chita Football Club to redeem themselves against Vipers Football Club, who are the current defending champions of the Southern Ghana Premier League.
I don't really see something that is going to be coming as far as this game is going to be concerned. The publicity has been that low. Most Ugandans are not informed. Actually, this has been a new introduction into the league.
Yes.
But I think it is something that is going to be good, that will fetch a lot of money for these clubs to start the season with. I'll go straight to my predictions. I would see Chitara, after strengthening their squad, Vipers has been disappointing at some point.
Yes,
I think
they have a new tactician in the name of Dennis Levine.
Yeah, after winning the Premier League, their coach immediately left. So there's a bit of a gap in that squad.
A little disorganization
with some of the strengths that Star has added. I'm seeing this coming back to the Kabalega boys.
Oh, okay. According to Eddie, he thinks it's gonna be the Star boys who are gonna be winning the Super 8. I mean the FIFA Super Cup trophy in there. So we are gonna be waiting to see what will be the outcome of the game, what is going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Ugandan time. Okay, it's going to be 7 p.m. Ugandan time live on the FIFA TV. So let's cross over and we talk about the return of the English Premier League with quite a number of analyzing factors coming out on board. Of course, the first game is going to be between Coventry City, who were the defending champions of the championship, against Arsenal. Of course, Coventry City will be traveling to Emirates Stadium. This game is going to be at 10 p.m. tonight at Emirates Stadium. Arsenal will be hosting Coventry City. Of course, tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. sub, of course, Hull City will be welcoming Michael Carrick's side, Manchester United. This is going to be another tantalizing game to watch in there. Of course, Ipswich Town will be hosting Sunderland at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And then Everton will be hosting Crystal Palace at the Hill Dixon Stadium at 5 p.m. And then Nottingham Forest at City Grounds will be welcoming Leeds United. And then Brentford at after this stadium, they will be hosting Spurs. Of course, Manchester City on Sunday at 4 p.m. They will be welcoming Bournemouth. And then Brighton and Hove Albion will be welcoming team Aston Villa on Sunday at 4 p.m. And then Newcastle United will be welcoming one of the biggest teams in the Premier League. In there, of course, they will be playing against Newcastle will be playing against one of the stubborn teams in the English Premier League. They will be playing against Liverpool. This game is going to be at 6:30 actually on Sunday. And then after that, we start having Monday Night Football. We'll see team Chelsea Football Club traveling to Craven Cottage. They will be playing against Fulham. These are the opening day games that are going to be coming up in the Premier League. Eddie, what is your anticipation in the Premier League? What are you seeing in the Premier League? Which teams are you looking at as the favorite to win the Premier League, and which teams are you looking at as favorites to get relegated from the Premier League? In that perspective, before we go into the Arsenal preview against Coventry City tonight.
Are you asking for my predictions for who will win the league, the top 4? Are you asking for that?
Yes.
All right. When you take the Premier League, first of all, I would say thanks that we have seen this day come. The most followed league in the world, the biggest league, I should say, in the world. Right now returns tonight, where we are seeing the champions of the champions of England. The champions of the English Premier League, that is Arsenal Football Club, coming against the champions of the Championship, the second tier of the English Premier League,
the big league of Uganda.
Yeah, I should say. At that perspective, I'm seeing Arsenal retaining this, no doubts. I should say Arsenal is retaining this.
But in the club's history, Arsenal has never defended the Premier League trophy.
Yeah, that's history repeats itself, but not this time around. I'm seeing Arsenal with the momentum they have right now in the squad. I should see the additions they've added. The players are all top notch. I'm seeing Arsenal repeating this and defending this Champions League.
Yes.
Then
second,
I should say I'm seeing a certain Manchester United who seems to be serious in the transfers. They are getting a lot of players. They're most especially looking at strengthening their midfield. You get there's a point whereby their team depends entirely on the midfield. If you're playing the gegenpressing type of football, so the team entirely depends on the midfield. So I should say Manchester United adding a lot of forces in the midfield is another strength for them. I'm seeing them second on the log. And then third, I should go for a certain Chelsea. Chelsea is going for the third slot because
I know what you're saying.
All right. There's a certain Xabi Alonso that has come into the team. So he loves the Gegen type of press.
Exactly.
And with the hard work, Chelsea has, if you take on average, Chelsea has at least 3 players in each position, which will spark a lot of competition in the squad to see that they get something nice. Xabi Alonso gets something nice out of the boys. So I'm seeing them getting third on the log. Man City, I had to pick them to be the fourth, which will be contributed by the absence of Rodri in the squad. Rodri has been a very big headache. Off on in the pitch, he has caused a lot of problem in the Premier League, most especially for the Arsenal side. I should say with the absence of Pep Guardiola as well, this is going to spark a lot of debate and a lot of failures in the squad. There's a lot of weak-mindedness in the squad that has been brought by Enzo Maresca.
So he thinks
making decisions has become a problem for him.
So you think they'll be finishing fourth on the log?
Yeah, finishing fourth on the log behind Chelsea. Then fifth, I'm going for a certain Tottenham Hotspurs.
So you're ruling out Liverpool?
Liverpool is playing Europa this time around. Liverpool is
now,
playing.
Due to time factor, you are relegation on the actual teams.
Relegation. I'm seeing Ipswich going back. Hull City is going back. And I'm seeing a certain, I should say Nottingham Forest is going back.
That's according to my chief analyst in the name of Eddie Mahaz. But if you had to ask my personal opinion, I will tell you boldly that Arsenal Football Club, with the addition that they've added into the team, with the squad there, with the quality that Arsenal is actually having right now, Arsenal are going to be defending the Premier League trophy. It has been Pep Guardiola that has been given hard times for Mikel Arteta. He's no more in the Premier League. Arsenal is going to be defending the Premier League. Second on my agenda is Manchester City. Of course, we don't know Pep Guardiola has left the team, yes, but that Manchester City squad is still intact. With the number of additions being added into the middle of the pack, Manchester City, in my own view, will still be finishing second on the log.
Can I ask you something?
Just give me time. Of course, third on the log is going to be Chelsea Football Club.
Yes,
they're going to be finishing third on the Premier League actual log. Just because Chelsea won't be playing much in European nights. They'll be concentrating in English football, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the English Premier League alone. So there's a high possibility that Chelsea could be finishing third on the log. And then fourth on the log, I'm going for Liverpool. Anthony Riola, we all know his actual style of play. He is one guy who loves proactive football. So definitely he's going to be one of the coaches that I fancy is going to be giving a lot of visibility for Liverpool fanatics. And then fifth on my agenda is Manchester United. Of course, Manchester United under Michael Carrick, you all know Manchester United has not been playing in European nights. So there is a lot of pressure for Michael Carrick to perform, and there's actually a lot of expectation from his players. And due to that pressure, the UEFA Champions League is there, the FA Cup is there, the Premier League is there, the Carabao Cup is there. Manchester United will be actually with their low squad depth, they are going to be finishing fifth in my own agenda. So if you had asked my team that I felt they are going to be getting relegated in the English Premier League, one of them is Coventry City. They will get relegated from the English Premier League. Hull City will get relegated, not forgetting Ipswich Town. These are my team that I felt they will be getting relegated.
Can I ask you one question, please?
Pose it.
All right. Did you see the absence of Rodri in the community shield? Did you see?
I saw it.
You saw the absence, and you're still going for City in the second leg without any proper replacement, because we know they're almost missing the deal of Enzo Fernandez.
Is it?
And they have kept quiet on Ayub Wadi, and now they're going for a certain Kone, the Frenchman.
Manu Kone.
They're going for Manu Kone. Do you think there will be that replacement in the midfield?
You see, Man City, they're going to be adding players actually into the middle of the park. They are aware that Rodri has left. Of course, the team has benefited a lot from Rodri's services. They've sold him to Barcelona
exactly.
expensively, around £65 million. Of course, at that age, Rodri going to Barcelona for £65 million. That's their plan for Manchester City. And going for a player in the name of Manu Kone from Roma is Rodri. Actually, Manu Kone is a fantastic player. We also saw his contributions for France national team in the World Cup. What he has been offered for France national team has been so immense, and actually his contributions alone for Roma in the Italian Serie has been so much actually positive in there. So look at his actual work rate in the middle of the park. He does that one perfectly, and when you look at Chima, he's a player who doesn't actually overlap all that much in there. He is a player who protects the back line. His primary role, he actually performs very, very well in there. So in my own view, Manchester City, they're going to be adding players in the middle of the park. There are talks about Manu Kone, yes, they talked about Ayub. This guy Ayub is going to be a Manchester City player. I can tell you that bodily. He's going to be doing after the end of Maresca's side. But I think the absence of Rodri should not be a big factor for Enzo Maresca. Even what Manchester against Arsenal, they went with their back three against Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. That kind of caused them to consider three early goals. But when he realized that, he changed his formation into a 4-4-2 formation. So we saw how good they were performing on the pitch. So that I think Enzo Maresca just come new into the team. He is going to be adding a lot of good things in that team of Arsenal Football Club. But I think he's coming in, just giving this guy time. He's going to be assembling a very good Arsenal squad into that team of Manchester City.
Okay.
So leaving that and that, because we are time low, let's talk about the Arsenal game that they are going to be playing against Coventry City tonight at 10 p.m. Before my news guys come on, but of course I'm seeing them preparing so much. They are pointing fingers actually to us here, because they will be coming actually with the news at 1 in the. So Arsenal up against Coventry City at 10 p.m. tonight. What are you seeing?
It's not something that it's not going to be a mountain to climb for Team Arsenal. They already have the momentum, they have the pedigree, they have all it takes to get a win against Coventry. But now seeing that Coventry also they have gotten in a couple of players into their squad to boost their team. Seeing they're also going to put something forth, but I'm not seeing so much goals in this game. However, I'm just going to see Arsenal maybe going for a 2-0 win against the champions of the championship. Yeah, that is Coventry at Emirates Stadium. Now, because eventually, if you take this game is going to be in Emirates Stadium.
Yes.
Whereby Arsenal fans will not want to start in front of their fans
at a low note.
Yes. They want to keep the expectations very high to see that they defend these champions.
Yes.
So playing in front of the Arsenal fans, Coventry will be that. Okay, it will be like a 13th player against them.
Yes.
Seeing the fans and the morale in Emirates Stadium is high after the Community Shield. You know, in the opener they did beat Man City. The momentum is high. Everything is good.
Yes.
With only a few injuries back into the squad, I'm seeing Arsenal thrashing by just 2-0. I'm not seeing too many goals in this game.
Don't you think that Coventry is coming actually at Emirates Stadium is going to be of a settlement for Arsenal Football Club? Of course, like you said earlier on, they were the champions of the championship. So coming up against the champions of the English Premier League, both teams are going to be coming up with pressure to deliver on the opening day of the Premier League.
I believe, Geroh, I would oppose you at some point. I would believe that every club that is going to face Arsenal at this point will come with that heart that is actually beating at a very high pressure, because you're going to play against the Champions League finalists. You're going to play against the FA Community Shield winners. You're going to come against the champions of the Premier League, the most followed league in the world. I should say, at this point, any club that is coming against Arsenal is going to come as an underdog. Yeah. Coming against Coventry, Arsenal are going to emerge victorious by only 2-0. I'm not seeing too many goals in this game. So
let's talk about the details that Mikel has added into the team. He has signed Pierre Hincapié on a permanent deal now. Of course, Arsenal signed him on loan, and definitely they have added him into their team on permanent basis now. Arsenal added in Geroh Zulic into the team. He is an attacking midfielder. An attacking actual forward. And Bruno Guimaraes, one of the most proven midfielders in the English Premier League, he has added in them actually on board. Are you seeing that Arsenal's squad?
I think I think a little bit, as Arsenal should have made this decision a little better, a little bit to change their sporting director. I think this should have been the biggest. Arsenal should have been a club right now, not at this state they were. Arsenal should be at a state whereby you see a certain PSG and Bayern combined. But now it is all about the sporting directors. Mindset towards the games right now. They're giving out the monies. Seeing that Arteta has changed the motive of game in Arsenal, they have splashed in money to see that everything is brought down, to see that they actually create things out.
Yes.
Now, adding Hingape on a permanent deal was adding
Bruno
Guimaraes in the mid to supplement Declan Rice is actually something that is very good.
But let's talk about the performance of Luis Kelly in the middle of the park.
Yeah, that's something to talk about. But at this point, I should say, for a young lad like Lewis, you will not rely on him.
Yes.
Maybe you add him with some mature person to actually supplement that midfield, because you can't rely on such a young lad 90 minutes, game in, game out, game in, game out. So what you have to do is Arsenal, maybe they can retain him to supplement, to actually give support to the likes of Declan Rice, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes in the mid. That's something. But now adding Zolis to the flanks, to seeing that he has proven himself getting in those assists and also putting the final punch for the ball to kiss the net is actually a big talking point for Arsenal right now. I think they have everything to win the league again.
Okay, according to you, what's your probable starting lineup that Arsenal is going to be using against Covent City tonight?
In the probable lineup, I would see David Raya is the custodian in the pack. Benjamin White is coming there on the right flank. Mosquera, in the absence of Saliba, is partnering with Magalhaes. And then we are seeing Ricardo Calafiori, because of the performance he did put against City.
He'll be on the left hand side of the pitch.
Right. And then we are seeing Lewis Kelly starting the gong right now in the absence of Declan Rice. Now we are seeing Bruno Guimaraes going to partner with Martin Odegaard in a 4-3-3 formation. Now we are seeing Zolis, who has proven himself, coming onto the flank. We are seeing Kai Havertz leading the lines. We also seeing Madueke coming to supplement, because of recent he has proven to the whole world that actually he is he's a hot cake in the Premier League right now. So that's my probable lineup for Arsenal against Coventry tonight.
All right, our time is up. Your parting thoughts before we leave the studio for the news to the guys to come on board.
There's nothing much. Football has come. The kids should actually give the remote back to us, because cartoon time is over. The biggest league has started, so that's basically it.
Alright, guys, we are out of here. Our time is up. It has been me, Senior Geroh, the host of the show, together with my compatriot in the name of Eddie Mahaz. In case I'm not around, he will be definitely spared in the sports show here at Sararights TV. Both Fuluk Barati and the English version, he is good in that. Guy, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
But you look good. I don't know what you've been eating from school.
By the way, school has done me no good than harm. Basically, exams, things. School has just been there. It has been a fair moment there at school, but however, we are back to the studios and we mean business as far as sports is concerned at Sararights TV.
All right, thanks so much. We're out of here. Shinobi, we're out of here. Bye-bye for now.